Good morning, Patrick. I hope you're doing well. I hope your weekend went well. Yeah, mine was hectic. Yeah, but regardless, we moved. Just gotta to get a mass. Yeah. Yeah. So today, I wanted to learn to tell the difference between overpriced versus value. Yeah. Because some cars are overpriced and valuable. Good morning, Kenneth. Some cars are just overpriced and not valuable. It's important that we learn the difference. Of course, man, it was hectic. Atete bansa sude. Patrick, tebansa sude. It was very hectic. I don't think Yes, it's a beautiful morning, David, and I hope you're having a good one. Yeah, I'm going to share pictures. I could not do a live. It was, I think that's one of the most disorganized weddings I've ever done. Of course, I went the day before to see the wedding venue, to see the committee chairman, to see the program, and they didn't have a program. And I was told they are going to give me the program that night, the eve of the wedding, which they did not give me. On the day of the wedding, I reached the reception venue at midday, starting at 3. The chairman still had no program. No one had a program at all. The day before, I wanted to know who my co-MC was, because normally at weddings it's 2 MCs normally. And the person who had been chosen to be the co-MC could not be available. He was traveling. So we were less by 1 MC. So the day of the wedding, I go to the venue. I ask who is my co-MC so that we coordinate and have a colorful time. There was no co-MC. So I'm told by the publicity of the wedding, the person that was doing publicity, to draw my own program, which I do. And as I start the wedding, I think everyone on the committee, there was no protocol. I think I should say there was no hierarchy of command at the wedding. So whoever felt like saying something would come to the MC and tell him what to do, which was too annoying. And along the way, we start. Of course, the bride and groom come late, which is expected. And hi, Da Vinci. And as I'm running my program, I think the treasurer of the wedding committee comes to me, starts telling me, and then along the way, I think the brother of the groom says the same. Along the way, the brother of the bride, my God. Yeah, and as the bride and the groom come in, I hear another person on the microphone calling co-MC. and this other person who is calling co-MC has no program at all. He's just talking. So he calls me co-MC Jangu Tulabe. So I go to him and he wants to see the program I've drawn. And yeah, I think the wedding was quite disorganized, but we did it. Netuchimala, Netuchikutula. And then this is for people that are going to do weddings anytime soon. I think the best thing for you to do if you're going to have a wedding, if you have a committee that is organizing your wedding, make sure that you have someone that is in charge of programming, and make sure that no one at the wedding tells the master of ceremony or the DJ or the entertainers anything to do if they go through the person in charge of programming. This is I realized that this organization wasn't really the groom's fault. I think the committee should have figured that out. They should have had someone in charge of programming, and they did not have that planned. So I think that's where the trouble came in. And I'm sure many weddings have such disorganization. I'm not used to the chaos. I'm not used to chaos. I'm used to organize the environment. I'm used to having things moving in an order, and when that order is started, we follow a hierarchy. Okay, we just have a protocol we go through before we can say let's change it this way. Not a bunch of people who believe they have power coming over. You see, being having a background of performing arts, for example, if I'm going to do a play, and the last play I did that was big, that was general public, I did a play called The Christmas Carol, and we performed that at the National Theatre. And as we organize our people, we have a production manager who is in charge of everything production, and the production manager handles actors, the production manager handles any kind of stuff that has been hired to be part of the play. The production manager also coordinates with the staff at the theater, at the National Theatre. The production manager basically knows everything that is going on. Then I normally have a person in charge of customer care and customer service, and that person also coordinates with the production manager in case anything is not going okay. Then that person coordinates with the security people, you get. Then that person makes sure that customers are very comfortable. That customer also works with the cleaning people to make sure the toilets are clean and everything, you get. And then I have a person in charge of welfare of the actors. Now this person works with the production manager. Then I have a person that has to handle money. Okay, and then the director, is also there. Now me, my job is basically to make the artistic bits work. The actor has to take 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards, and then the dancers have to do this, then the musicians have to do this, you get. There is no time that you will find me shouting at an actor. That's not my job, that's the job of the production manager. And because we have a protocol of command, you'll find that we have a lot of organization at our performances, you get. And should one of these people miss, maybe the person in charge of customer care misses, that's where the disorganization comes. And at all our productions where we didn't have one of these people, we had a lot of disorganization. And I think that's the thing that happened at the wedding where I was on the weekend. But overall, it was a nice thing. It was a nice wedding. As usual, the women dress to kill, and as usual, the men put on what they have. So that's how weddings are. The bride looked really nice. The groom was very happy, also very smart. It was a very nice wedding. I'll share some pictures, I think, probably during the weekend. I'll share the pictures in the community tab. Yeah, but it was a nice wedding. Whoever was at a wedding over the weekend, Kulikayo. Good morning, Martha. I hope you're well. Yeah, so we start. Of course, I got too tired. The wedding was stated to start at 3. Well, of course, people were there by 3. The groom and the bride came at around 4:50, which is almost 5. So we started at 5, and instead of ending at 7, which we were supposed to end, we ended at 10. And remember, the wedding was in Mukono. I had to drive to Matuga, so I got to my place at midnight. I don't like driving at night. Yeah, I don't like driving at night, but I had to drive at night. So to make all matters worse, the Sasa Sudua, I hope I get paid in the nearby future. But from my experience, a service provider at a wedding, if you don't get paid before or during, you may not get paid. Yeah, but Mukono is your home. Yeah, another day yo. Yeah, but I hope I get paid. Say banja by the state akubanja nze. So mukole sigenda mubanja ngenda muleka ye banje. Bwate banje, those are the things that hot married couples. Mukolo ne mutasasula ba service provider. Mulabate muina mirembe mufumbu bwamwe kumbe temwasasula MC. Atenga MC yarambuza omukolo. Natukanewe sawa mukago gwekiro. Yeah, so you guys, I hope you're doing well. Me, I'm okay. I came home very tired, yet I had to go to the gym. And yeah, I had to do my run on Sunday. I did my runs, by the way. You guys should run. There is life in running, eh? Of course, Todd Dukanga Baggo, but you run for exercise. Like me, I run for exercise, and it's a nice thing. Yeah, and then I also went to the gym. I worked out, and then I overslept today. Yeah, but I hope you're good. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between being overpriced and having value. It's like, you know how you find a slay queen, and you know slay queens know what to do to make themselves look beautiful, and then you'll find a genuinely beautiful woman. The slay queen is the overpriced one. This other woman is the valuable one. I don't know if that makes sense. Waliwo omuntu eyesudia ne wabawo n'omuntu alina value. In the car market, we have cars that are overpriced and not valuable. We have cars that are omwana wuyo we Masaka mumulabye mbiwulira yingi niyo yamulema okukola naye ebirala abikoze ateka kuba makanika oyo mumulabye. I'm going to try and get a little close. That's a start, by the way, but he tried to make it look good on the outside. It has a lot of accessories though. You'll be washing some in your hand. But that's the starlet. All he cares about is that he can go fast. And you know, people that have old cars like that one, if you can go that fast, for him the car is okay. Yeah, and then we come across the Sienta. I think the Sienta is one of the underpriced cars. Not overpriced, underpriced. Uyo nachama ku mafuta agenze kunywa mafuta abo banywa omutwalo n'ettaano abo. Agenze atekemu ettaano zimutuse ku mulimu. Yeah, so you guys, we need to understand the difference between overpriced and valuable. Okay, let's start by trying to define what valuable is. Valuable is something that adds value to you. Yesterday I was having a conversation with Emma, and we were comparing. I can't forget the experience I came to this hospital from Sajanangamba that I have gonorrhea. Saina wanuma negai Dr. Wawe yangamba that I have gonorrhea. Ngirida yantwala bidi mumusanvu. So I go to another hospital for a second opinion, and the doctor did the background test I think for gonorrhea, and I didn't have it. They did a test for infection and I didn't have any. I was just doing a random check. Just like that, the guy was going to give me vitamins for 270k. Bananga Sauve Uganda. Abamu, not all of them. Not all of them. Yeah, so yesterday we were comparing with Emma in a conversation. We were comparing the Toyota IST and the Toyota Spacio. Now, both these cars are highly priced though. Both these cars are highly priced. Both the old models, they are old models and the new models. Zabei, Tezepankwako. And of course he was asking me what I think about them. And this is my thought. So that we have a starting point. The Toyota IST is a very reliable car. It's a very compact car, which makes it because it's compact, it's very easy to drive around town, even for the inexperienced drivers. Even a person that has just started driving a car, they will drive the Toyota IST and be comfortable on the road. Because it's small, it's very easy to park. Okay, and because you know the IST has a 1.5cc engine, and it's a very small car, so the engine can properly, without stress, drive the body of that car. So the engine is actually bigger than the body, which makes it very good on the fuel. The engine doesn't need to use a lot of power to drive that body. So which leads us to the reasons why people want to buy the Toyota IST. fuel consumption is good, it's compact, it is small. Because the engine is bigger than the body, it's very rare that you will find the engine breaking down or the gearbox, because they are never strained. And because it's a small car, you'll never find someone putting 8 people in that car. That's why it never breaks down. Which we cannot say about the Sienta, because the Sienta has seven passenger seats, yet it has the same body as its same engine as this IST. So people tend to buy the Sienta and put a lot of people, like they are loading the Ipsum, which tegeera kati beba to nebagita mangu, which tegeera. So we have talked about the IST. Now the Spacio. Now the Spacio has 2 variations. They have a 1.8cc and then we also have a 1.5cc. Now the most common one is the 1.8cc, okay, which I also recommend that you buy in case you're going to be buying a Spacio. You buy 1.5cc. If you compare to the IST, the Spacio has a very big body, bigger body than the IST, meaning that the engine in the 1.5cc engine in a Spacio will be pulling a lot of load even with just the body compared to the IST. You know, 1.5cc or 1.8cc, the difference in the fuel consumption is negligible. It doesn't make sense. So you would just buy the 1.8cc because the 1.8cc engine and the body of the Spacio are fairly okay. So it won't give you a lot of headache. I think at the 300cc that is different. Zibanga nkumi ngano suka sambu. Zibanga, the difference is like a liter and a half. If you drove the same distance. So the advantage with the Spacio, it has 2 basic advantages. One, if you happen to get a 7-seater, it means you're driving a family car that is actually compact. If you get a 7-seater, you're driving a family car that is compact. 2, the Spacio has more space. It has more space when you're driving. Inside and of course outside. Never ever boot. It takes a lot of stuff if you're going to be loading stuff in the boot from like the farm. If you're coming from the village and you want to bring some stuff, yeah, the boot is quite big. 3, the Spacio is kind of prestigious. It looks nice. It will look nice on you compared to the IST. Yes, the IST is expensive, but nobody cares. It's like a small car. Era ababoda bajja kuvuma. Nebo giguza million ana. IST bajja kuvuma. Ajja kuvuma atuke ku stage bamugaye naye emmotoka eyo gy'ovumya okimanyi nti ya bbeeyi. Naye nga amaze okuvuma ovuga katudduutu. But with the Spacio, no one is actually going to abuse you. Because most rich homes, okay, most middle class homes, not rich, most middle class homes actually have a Spacio. Never buy a Mercedes Benz. You can't buy a Spacio. Why? Spacio, for starters, is one of the most reliable cars I've ever seen. But now when I talk about Spacio, I'm talking about both. But when I'm talking about the Prestige and low, I'm talking now about the new model. The new model Spacio, old model. That's what I normally tell you, don't buy the old model, because if you can afford the old model Spacio, you can definitely afford the new model. Because you'll find someone selling to you a UAV old model Spacio at 14 million. At 14 million, you can get a U80, UAS, probably even UAW, new model Spacio. So why are you buying the old model Spacio? You get it? So the Spacio, the new model car, is prestigious. That way, if you park the IST here, park the Spacio there, and you were selling, even at the same price, the Spacio person will sell faster than the IST. Why? The IST doesn't seem to have any other use apart from driving to work. That's why you find that majority of the people that drive the IST are women. Women normally have no other use for cars other than just driving around. Kati chovola bantu bakazi basinga ovuga bu IST. Era normally when you find a man driving an IST, About broker, it's normally brokers that drive the ISTs because they are in the process of selling the IST. So, but for a man, I wouldn't. Of course, you can buy the IST as a man if you want the IST, no problem. But as a man, like a hustler like me, one of the reasons why I drive cars with boots is every now and then I'm going to have stuff to load into the boot. Can't you be driving the IST? I drove a Vitz for some time, and it gave me hard time. I don't have places to load my stuff. I think that's why after the Vitz I bought a Raum, because the Raum had plenty of space. Then I bought the Mark II. The Mark II had plenty of space. Then I bought the Ipsum. The Ipsum had still plenty of space. Then I bought the Primo, still plenty of space. Then afterwards I bought this one. Hey, I'm a car hustler. Kakati, the comparison between those two cars I think is seen. Both cars are highly priced. That if you're still calculative of your money like me, you don't buy either the IST or the Spacio. Why? Because they are all overpriced. You will not get a Spacio or IST at less than 13 million minimum. And I'm talking about both new and old models. Of course, you can get a Spacio old model at less than 13 million. 10. Because if you get a Spacio UAK, you can buy it at around 7. But why would you buy a Spacio UAK? And I'm telling you that I've had plenty of people complain that the Spacio consumes quite some fuel. Especially the old model. The new model, if anyone says it consumes fuel, I will change. About 1.8 cc in VVTI it doesn't consume fuel at all. But I've been telling you guys that there are people that should not be driving cars. Probably. You get, so there are people that are not ready to drive cars, because if you're going to be complaining about fuel, then don't buy a car. Cars are meant to consume fuel. You see, that's called a visitor, a deal. Good morning, Rich. Yeah, so we have made the comparison. Now, which car, before I even say what I have to say, that's why I want a Vitz. I don't want a Vitz. Yeah, because the Vitz doesn't, Bobangori hustler, anytime soon, business idea pops up and you have to load stuff in the car. The IST, the Vitz, those small cars might not be the cars for you. Yeah, but those small cars, yes, Martha. Kakati guys, before I tell you what I think, which of the two cars do you think is overpriced? Now that we have looked at you guys know the market. We have been talking about these things all along. Between the IST and the Spacio, which car do you think is overpriced, and which car do you think is worth its money or valuable? Spacio and the IST, which car do you think is overpriced, and which car do you think is worth their value? Motov Mbango vuga a small car, Martha motuleke namwe. Katifa wavuga a small cars lututayogereko, lututajogereko nonyega. Spacio is what, Chris Da Vinci? Spacio is overpriced or worth the money, valuable? Which of those two cars, guys, is overpriced, and which of those two cars is valuable or worth the money? For us to learn to tell the difference. Which one is overpriced and which one is worth the money? Let's guys, let's have that discussion. Omusajja wakosoba avuga biki azunga obaka muruka lwa kubamanyika katekali mu nnyo sente ati akazunza akazina. So which of those cars is overpriced and which one is worth the money or valuable? Msajja wakana akamotoka naye 5 tugende. That Corsa, by the way, is also one of those cars that doesn't consume fuel. There is a 1.5cc. Spacio is valuable and overpriced than the IST. I actually think that, Chris, I think if you went to the market and you were trying to buy Spacio and IST, the same number plate, same condition, the IST will be more expensive. Because the engine, Solomon, nice if my motor kayo. Sifu mamoroka ne musajja baba davuga atya. They don't know how to drive in which lanes. You're supposed to pick the right lanes if you're driving on the road. Yeah. So which of those two cars is overpriced? IST or Spacio? Which is overpriced? Which is valuable? Which is overpriced? Which is valuable? For us to understand. Because valuable, as we understood, something that adds value to you. Something that adds value to you. Then overpriced will definitely mean that, okay, it has some value, but it's overpriced. The price you want to buy it is way beyond the value that you're going to get out of it. So which one? Which one? Martha, Solomon, you guys give me your views. We have talked about the Spacio, we have talked about the IST. Which of these two cars is just overpriced and which of them is just valuable? You can continue, you can go on and give me your reasons. You can go on and give me your reasons. Why you think it's like that? Go on and give me your reasons why you think it's like that. Then we are going to discuss a bunch of cars that we can look at. But of course, as I talk about those cars, I'm not talking about the bond price, because the bond price, you will find that the bond price is almost the same. You'll find that the bond price is almost the same. That if you went to the bond and we are comparing the Spacio and the IST, you'll find that the prices are almost the same. Why? Because you'll find that they get them at the same price from Japan. IST looks cool. I personally would value it more than the Spacio. Okay? Solomon says he would value the IST more than the Spacio. So it's worth the money. The Spacio is not worth the money, according to Solomon. Yes. Martha, what do you think? Patrick, I know you're there. What do you think? And everyone that is watching, because I have 12 people that are watching, you guys should be able to tell me what you think. What do you think is the car? Which car do you think is overpriced? I just want us to look at this one. Suzuki Jimny. This is the old model. Carburetor, food day. Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Suzanne. Arthur, you really know this content, of course. Spacio is good, but IST interior is better. Rich. So, is the IST more valuable than the Spacio according to you? I want to buy a Toyota Passo Sete. Yeah, the Passo Sete is a 7-seater. I have to find out which engines are actually in that Passo Sete. But if the Passo Sete has a 1.5cc, just make sure you don't overload it. Just make sure you don't overload it, because kaingi na ateka bakanafu kuload joyagala okukawa don't buy it. Yeah, but the Passo Sete is not a bad car. But if you want, sometimes if you want to buy a car, you need to also, what can I do? If you want to buy a car, Patrick is saying Spacio is overpriced because it has multiple purposes, unlike IST. By the way, Patrick, you will be surprised. The IST is more pricey than the Spacio if you went to the market. It's more pricey. try to buy the IST and they are in the market with the Spacio, same condition, same number plate, you'll find that the IST is actually more pricey. Morning, I think Spacio is worth it because of the resale value, which is not the same case with the IST. Yeah, apparently both cars have the resale value. Both cars have the resale value, but in terms of reselling, if someone is selling a Spacio and another one is selling the IST, okay, at the same price, and these cars are in the same condition, the person selling the Spacio will sell. The person selling the Spacio will sell faster than the person selling the IST. Why? It's because there are more people want the Spacio than the people that want the IST. I've also told you that majority of drivers of ISTs are actually women. Bote bafa yo bavuga buvuzi kastavuga nagende wamama we namulabako navuga nagenda ku mulimu babayi n'abaana n'abavuga n'abatwala kusome. Women normally don't care about what other uses the car has. They are just driving. Kasta nyine motoka nevuga. So but of course that's why trust me, how many times have you seen a man driving an IST ngasi broker? For me, there are very, very few times. Let me see your comment, Martha. Arthur, your Corolla is okay, not in shape of bits. Paso and IST. Here we have a Tida Nissan, very small. Katida nako katondo. Katida nako katono banagi. Katida katono nyo. So the Paso Sete, Susan. The Paso Sete is like the modification of the Paso. Paso improved. I think the Paso Sete is the family car version of the Paso. Still compact, but more seats because it's a 7-seater. Relax, Arthur. Those are police. Yeah. So, but one thing I want you guys to understand is before you buy a car, you need to ask yourself, the car that I want to buy, you have your ID. The car that I want to buy, how many people that live in the area where I live, okay? How many people that live in the area where I live and work from where I work drive the same car? Okay, you need to ask yourself that question. How many people drive the same car? Because yes, you need to ask yourself, because in my experience, should I leave it here? You need to ask yourself, because in my experience, it's actually mostly Indians that drive the Paso Sete. Why? The Indian lives in Bukoto and works in Tinda. Sometimes the Indian lives in Bukoto and works in Bukoto. That's just how I've seen it. I live in Matuga. There is only one Paso Sete. And the woman actually lives in Matuga, works in Matuga. She doesn't come to town. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So you need to do that analysis and see the car I'm going to buy, am I not going to have trouble driving and maintaining it, looking at where I live, where I work? There are cars that you should probably buy, especially you have to look at their reliability. You have to look at the reliability of these. You have to look at the, what's that for? You have to look at the reliability of that car, how people have been fixing it, and of course you have to look at how many cars are in your location ng'abantu bakola ki bazivuga, because if you're driving a car that is not driven by anyone on your road oba ku kyalo kw'obeera, then you might actually end up having trouble. Also as you maintain the car, because it might prove to be expensive. Wayo n'emmotoka ezimu nga bamakanika bewaffe tebazikanika nga tebazimanyi okitegeera. Like I was telling someone last week, I have like 5 mechanics. I have a mechanic, like I have like 3 mechanics in town, in Kampala town, Central Business District. Then I have 3 mechanics. Actually, I have 6 mechanics. Yeah. I have 3 mechanics. I have 3 mechanics in Matuga, where I live. Bantu bakosa bekarakasa kukubu Solomon. Bazivuga n'oluza bavuga Subaru. Ezo nazina yakaka. Yeah, so I have those 6 mechanics, and depending on what I want fixed, I go to either of them. I have a mechanic that works on ebyamagezi ennyo nga byetaagamu okulowooza. I have that one mechanic. I have a mechanic that is fast. He knows how to unscrew which bolt, how to screw it back. Then I have a mechanic for simply calling to come and check on my car. He's a diagnosis person. So I differentiate which mechanic does what. And the 3 mechanics in Matuga, if I'm going to buy a car and they can't fix any of the things on that car, brake, bukono kubutereza, you need to buy a kanga. A mechanic where you live can actually work on those things. Still, you did. But I saw a comment here, Martha. Let me look more. Let me look more. Hey, Martha, where you? Can you please quote it for me? Jikone kobwoti okole reply. Then I'll see. I've seen the comment I've seen in Negamba. I thought your Corolla is okay, not in the shape of Vitz, Paso, and IST. Here we have the Tida Nissan, very small. Hey, people are driving the Nissan Tida here. And apparently the people that drive Nissan actually like their Nissans. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. He drives the Nissan X-Trail. I'm going to do a review on that one. He will tell us what he thinks about Nissans. I stay in Kawanda also. We shall share those mechanics. Yeah, but Kawanda is quite far. Kawanda actually has some garages that look nice. Yeah. Kawanda has some garages that look nice. So I was talking to my friend over the weekend, the one that drives the X-Trail, and he was giving me his reasons why people fail at driving Nissans. Yeah, of course, Nissans are very expensive, very expensive. For him, he admitted. Normally, people don't admit, but he told me that Nissans are quite expensive to maintain. More expensive, much more. Actually, two times the expense money you spend on maintaining a Nissan is to what you spend on maintaining a Toyota. If the Toyota shocks, 4 of them will cost you 400,000. Then Nissan, you will spend $1 million buying the shocks. Yeah, so before you buy a Nissan, and that was something that comes from a person that drives Nissan, not a mechanic, not a broker, no nothing. So just know, if you buy a Nissan, if it costs me 1.5 to maintain my car a year, it will cost you about 4 million to maintain yours. So we still have a conflict of which car is actually more valuable between the IST and the Spacio. Now, most of the people that say the IST is better, they say it's better because of how it looks. Now, both cars, by the way, look okay. Even the Spacio looks very okay. The IST looks okay, but the Spacio also looks okay. So I personally think the Spacio has a very nice interior. The reason why I think someone would think the IST has a better interior is because it's much more compact. And because it's compact, when you get into the Spacio seat, it hugs you, which take it, and people like hugging seats. That's probably the reason why someone would actually say that that the Spacio, the IST has a better interior. But I think both cars have good interior. Both cars are easy to maintain. There is jam here, but I wanted to use this rod. Let me use it today because kids are out of school, so should be able to move. Good morning, Dennis. And then the people that are talking about the Spacio being more valuable are actually giving the reason of it, so the resale value is actually higher. I think I'll tell you that the IST is more pricey, is more expensive to buy used on Ugandan roads than the Spacio. In the bond, you might find that the prices are almost the same, but outside, me, I will marry a mechanic. Walai. Why? Just buy a good car, you don't need a mechanic. If you buy a good car, you don't need a mechanic. Just know what you want, because mechanics are like doctors. Spacio has much bigger space. Good. Stuart is telling us that Spacio has a much more bigger space. Martha, let me tell you this. Mechanics are like doctors. There is no doctor that is good at everything. That's why we have orthopedic surgeons. I don't know what that one does. The word orthopedic just seems nice. Then we have chiropractors. Then we have pediatricians. Then we have the heart surgeons. Then we have ENTs. Then we have different kinds of doctors. You go from Mujiraba. Don't even admire it. It's still up. So IST is overpriced and Spacio is worth it. Oh, I've seen it, Martha. Yeah, IST is overpriced and Spacio is worth it. Yeah, so let me give my thought on this. I've seen it, Martha. I also think I share the sentiment with Martha that the IST is a good car, no doubt about it. Orthopedics is about skeletal tissues. Oh, okay, bones. Yeah. So IST is an okay car. It's a good car. They are both good. The Spacio is also a good car. Zombies in a Moroka nunji. But it's important for us to understand that we need to look at the majority. What do the majority want? And it's not, I've been telling you guys that it's not by accident that we have many Toyota cars on the road. It's not by accident. It makes Toyota a better car. And if it's a better car, it's much more valuable. It's not by accident that Bajaj Boxer is on the road a lot more than the TVS. It simply tells you that the Bajaj is much more valuable to the border riders than the TVS. They have their reasons, of course. So I personally think that both cars are good, but I happen to believe from experience that the Spacio is totally worth the money. But I also see that the IST, in all its beauty, in all its glory, it's too overpriced. The IST is overpriced because, yes, the IST is overpriced. I share my thoughts with Martha that the IST is overpriced, and majority of the time, get a woman that wants to drive that car. If you don't, you'll find that you're going to be stuck with the car. Why? Because if you go and buy IST UAT at like 15 million, Who is going to buy a U80 from you at 15? You obviously end up selling at 12. Now, the reason why people end up buying ISTs at a very high price is because normally they find the cars with brokers. Brokers normally buy them cheaply. You have to, so don't buy an IST at a higher price. If you want to buy an IST and get value for your money, buy it from the bond. But if you're going to bond, new bond as in Japan imported, good morning JK. So if you're going to be buying that an IST that is used on the road, you're going to buy it at a very high price and you might not be able to recoup all your money. But on the other hand, the Spacio might give you all your money back. Family people want Spacio. Uber guys would definitely prefer Spacio. Old men will prefer Spacio. Arthur would drive a Spacio. Martha would drive a Spacio and not an IST. So majority of the people will be looking for a Spacio than the IST. So you'll find that you put the IST and Spacio in the same location, selling at the same price, in the same condition, same number plate. The Spacio will be taken and you still have the IST for another week or two before it's bought. And you may end up actually reducing the price. So I find that the Spacio is actually worth the money than the IST. I think this is where we kind of, someone was asking me to compare the Raum to the Spacio. You cannot on any day compare a Raum to a Spacio. Why? For starters, the Raum has that slider door, and that slider door, I've heard that people have a lot of complaints on it, that it fails very many times. It fails, and that's repair cost. The original Spacio no Rugara, it never fails. Let's take it as second. The Raum kind of doesn't have energy, a lot of power. Why? Because it has plenty of space inside, and that forces people normally to overload the car. And they overload the car. I think the same thing happens with what's that car? With the Sienta. But Arthur, we still really need an yes, I'm working on that, David. Don't worry. I'm working on that. So the same weakness is with the Sienta. Sienta has plenty of space, very many seats, small engine, weak engine, and you'll be driving it up on the road. Put 7 people in your car, be going up the hill, and the car will not be moving. Why? Because it has a small engine for the kind of load that you've given it. So the same thing happens with the Raum, and that's why it has affected the Raum resale value. The new model, especially the old model, but the new model, so let's try to compare other cars. Which cars should we guys compare? Overpriced versus valuable. According to popularity vote, the Spacio is definitely valuable, worth its money, and of course the IST is good but overpriced. So you need to understand, when you go to the market to buy a car, you need to get the difference between overpriced and valuable. I've had people that believe that the more expensive a car is, the more valuable it is. It doesn't happen that way. Arthur, you know mechanics are thieves. So if I marry my mechanic, he will not bother me, and he will call his fellow mechanic to repair what he can't. Martha, the problem is you'll marry a mechanic who doesn't care. He will steal even from his own wife. You've heard of those stories of where a man has stolen the wife's money, or stories where the wife has stolen a man's their husband's money. So you will need to pray a lot that you get lucky and get a man that will not steal from you. Okay, take it back on the road. Now, this Golf is actually in good condition. It has not broken down. Of course, it's a UBE. Should be on the road. Yeah, so which cars should we compare now? Now, I was a Regius and the Regius and the Super Custom. the Regius and the Super Custom. Now, the reason why sometimes comparing the Regius to the Super Custom might be unfair is because the Regius has two versions. It has a petrol version and the diesel version. Now the diesel version has the KZ engine, which is also found in the Super Custom. Matter what is the probability that you will get marriage material mechanic? Exactly. What's the probability? Solomon has brought mathematics. See? Yeah. So the Regius has the version that has a 1KZ engine, which is the same engine that is in the Super Custom. If we compare those two cars, both with the KZ engine, it might be a much more fair comparison. Now, valuable versus overpriced. You can get both cars at around 18 and above million in very good condition. 18 million and above. Now, those ones, I'm not even looking at number plates, I'm looking at condition of the car. Because those ones, if you look at the number plate, automata, which take it. I personally think, for starters, the Super Custom has bigger space in the body. That's why you will not find a tour company using a Regius, but you'll find plenty of tour companies using a Super Custom. Both these cars are actually weak compared to the Chigege, which is used for taxi, but they are strong if you're going to be carrying 7 passengers, because these cars really 2.7 3000 cc. Kati, you need to see where these cars are valuable. Bogena Mokatari, if you're selling both the Regius and the Super Custom, same condition, same number plate, same prices, the Super Custom will go before the Regius. Why? Of course, you can't ignore that it looks better. The Super Custom definitely looks better. The Super Custom also has more space inside. The Super Custom has more loading capacity than the Regius. Both these cars are comfortable, but the Super Custom is actually much more comfortable. It has a better suspension system. If it's getting accidents where the car will roll, you'll find that the Super Custom will roll before the Regius actually rolls. But that doesn't take away the fact that the Super Custom will prove to have a more value than Newobanga Zonazono Genda Zigura at the same price. Obanga's pricing is at the same price. You'll find that the Super Custom has value. So if you're going to the market and you want to buy a van or minivan, you may see that buying a Super Custom, if you compare to the Regius, is better. Now let's compare the Super Custom with the Toyota Noah. Of course, the Toyota Noah is smaller than the Super Custom. The Super Custom is bigger, but this is my personal opinion. I think that the Toyota Noah is much more valuable. Come on, Inan, you can't you can't compare a RAV4 to a Beetle. Definitely the RAV4 will beat the Beetle any day. So the Noah is definitely more valuable. Why? Maintaining the Noah is easier, okay, yet it also takes the same number of passengers like the Super Custom. One thing you have to also think about is that, are you ever going to use all the space that the Super Custom has on offer? Can you even use all the space in the Super Custom? Chances are high that you won't be able to use up all the space. Chitegeza, the Noah might actually prove to be more valuable. You have to also think that the Noah is 2.0 cc, yet the Super Custom is 3.0 cc. Maintaining the Super Custom is also quite high because it's a diesel car. Being a diesel cars are very expensive to maintain. Never because it's service. Service for a diesel car is much more expensive than for a petrol car. Now you also have to look at the tires. Buying tires for a Noah is much more affordable than those for a Super Custom. Comfort wise, the Super Custom will be much more comfortable, but the comfort also comes with much more maintenance costs. It's very easy to find someone that can work on a newer and make it move on the road properly than if the super custom were to break down of the same issues. So in that case, the newer wins. So if you're going to go to the market, super custom you need to understand that the newer will definitely beat the super custom any day. Even in the resale, when you're buying, you'll definitely find that the super custom is more expensive. But that doesn't mean that when you sell, people will be willing to give you the same amount. For you to sell the super custom, you'll sell it for a longer time than the newer. So that's the IST old model. That's the old model. Kativitizi we kusika komujirengera. If the VIT runs out of fuel on you, Kati was also one of Corolla ya Atha. People need to be serious. VIT is a kusika keti. Like that thing is 1.0 cc. The one he has is the one Atha. Don't forget to compare Ipsum Picnic, Ipsum Super. I wanted to do that comparison in detail, but the Ipsum Picnic and Ipsum Super, which one is more valuable, which one is overpriced? Of course, I can't say overpriced because you'll definitely get those cars in the same price range. These are the key differences. The Ipsum Picnic has bigger space, interior. It has a bigger body, definitely. Okay? But also the Ipsum Picnic has a bigger engine. The Ipsum Picnic has a 2.4 cc engine, which is definitely VVTi. But let me tell you, driving Ipsum Picnic, obanga avuga kawunde yo jirengera. Do you think it's worth it? Because the Ipsum Picnic consumes as much as that kawundo. But the Ipsum Super is a 2.0 cc. It's not VVTi, but it can never get to the amount of the consumption that Ipsum will give you. Mark Twain. You get, apart from it having bigger space, it's much more comfortable, definitely. It has air suspension, but the air suspension is actually much more expensive to replace. It has actually the electric suspension system. The amount of noise you're going to be getting in your car will make it uncomfortable for you to drive it. The Super is actually also comfortable. It has a very nice looking interior. So depending on what you're looking for, some people will end up driving the Picnic. But when you go to the market, same number plate, same condition, same prices, the person selling the Ipsum Super will sell before the Ipsum Picnic sells. So I would definitely not recommend anyone buying a Picnic because it doesn't make sense for you to driving like Ipsum. For me, it doesn't make sense. Even that RAV4 is 2.4 cc. So you'll be driving the same fuel like a person driving a RAV4 new model. No. So any day, the Ipsum Super is much more valuable than the Picnic. And regardless of that, it's very rare for you to find someone wanting to buy the Ipsum Picnic. Very, very rare. Because it's 2.4 cc, no one wants to buy it. Because of the fuel consumption. Jeke told us he was driving Kawundo. So any day, the Ipsum Super is definitely much more valuable. Now, Stuart, who wants to compare a RAV4 to a Volkswagen Beetle? That's a very unfair comparison. Why? The Volkswagen to Toyota, Volkswagen is already at a disadvantage because we have seen more Volkswagen break down on the road than Toyotas. So it's Volkswagen. Then the other thing that you would have to look at, how many Beetles have you seen on the road today? Because the camera has been facing we have seen only one Volkswagen, the Go 5 TSI. That's the only one we have seen on the road. Have you seen any other? Do you think it's by accident that there are no Golfs on the road? It definitely has something to do with maintenance. Which take it as a bay to maintain, to keep on the road. Stuart nze tugamba nti saakulaga children nze kulaze children gwamanyi. Yeah, so it's unfair for us to compare the RAV4 to a Beetle. First of all, because the RAV4 is much more reliable on the road than the Beetle. You'll find the UAA RAV4 on the road. You'll not find the UAA Beetle on the road. Most people that have those old Beetles, they only take them to car shows. It's the vintage car shows. That's where they take them for display. They don't drive them every day because it's hard to drive it on the road. If you drive it from my place in Matuga, you may not get to Kampala. So it's important that we understand what our comparisons can be. Also, the person that wanted to buy a Passo Sete any day, I don't know, apart from if you're buying the Passo Sete because it's compact, but if you're buying it because of the number of seats, any day I would tell you to buy either a Spacio 7-seater or a Wish. Any day. Because those cars, if it's time to upgrade, those cars will get you more money than the Passo Sete any day. Because Ugandans have not yet understood the Passo Sete. They have not. And the Passo Sete is definitely going to even go off the market without people understanding it. The traffic officers, they are looking for money for Christmas. Wakagenda kunyumiriza kano mukama akasasire kuba nyine ebisanyizo byange. Ate these traffic officers, they look at you and you're not scared of them. I think they also guy so the guy that wants to buy my Corolla 12 million ogirabye aba traffic bagitya no gitya bagitya kakati ono DPCC manyoba yana agitya mumulabye ne mayinja agitidde ne mayinja agitidde. So you guys abajala okwesimba mu Corolla yange, it's expensive, it's also overpriced. Yeah, so I think you guys totally get the point now. I think now you can tell the point between overpriced and valuable. There are things that are overpriced and there are things that are valuable. Any day, there is a day that a Passo will be better than a Spacio, because at that moment the Passo is more valuable than the Spacio, which is overpriced. For example, if a person is going to be doing Uber and there is a Passo that is a 1.3cc and there is also a Spacio that is a 1.5, I would tell you to buy a Passo that is 1.3cc. Why? Because Uber is a business of numbers. It's not a business of size. It's not a business of luxuries. It's not a business of comfort. So any day I would tell you to buy the Passo 1.3cc because you're going to be consuming less fuel, and Uber is a business of spending less money in fuel. Any day go and buy a Passo 1.3cc of Gava Sabas and save money. So that's all for today in comparison, for us to understand valuable versus what? Versus overpriced. Wilbur is, a gayaza bampita vehicle expert. Thanks to you, Arthur. Kale singo obadde olya ennyama nali kuweereza kakiro. Yeah. Kakiro kasobola oyita mu mobile money. Nengina nenkagula. I'm glad that the knowledge is actually useful to you. Yeah, so of course there are cars that, let me tell you one thing. If you're going to be buying a car, newoba ogenda gigula mu bond. Newoba ogenda gigula mu bond. You need to understand that for starters, new cars okujjako ng'oguze at a bargain. Like the market price in the bond for a certain car is 50 million and you buy it at 45 million, which is quite rare. You may find that you're buying a car at 45 million, meaning you're buying a car that either has a higher mileage, or you're buying a car that has some accident history, or you're buying a car that has an engine issue, because that's a possibility. We know those and motoka bagituna million atano mu bondi anze najiguza 3.45. You think you have saved 5 million. Nayenga 3 years down the road you're going to be buying another engine which is like 8 million. So sometimes you have to be very careful. If you go to if you know that the market price for a car is like 35 million and someone is saying zenjiguza kwa asatu, you need to be very careful. What was I driving to as a point is that newer cars lose more value than old cars, because there are very few people in Uganda looking for new cars, but there is a very big number of people looking for old cars. So you need to understand that, and that's one of the things that makes the value for new cars go down with time. You can Kruger versus Subaru. Which Subaru though? Kruger is definitely more valuable, because go to the market and people will buy the Kruger faster than the Subaru. Which again, at valuable in terms of Subaru versus Kruger, for us to compare, it would need to be fair. That, for example, you're comparing a Kruger to a Kawundo or to a Harrier, that would be a much more valuable, much more fair comparison. But any day Toyota will have more value than the Subaru, because compare how many people are actually looking for Subarus on the road and how many people are looking for Toyotas. And someone will come looking for a Harrier Kawundo, ne bamuguza Kruger. A person looking for a Kawundo, muguza Harrier. It doesn't matter which Harrier we are talking. No, it also muguza Subaru, and it doesn't matter which Subaru we are talking about. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you need to understand that, of course, depending on which cars we are talking about, new cars lose much more value the moment you drive them. It will lose about 2 million. If you want to test, if you have just bought a car from the bond, go back to the same person that sold you the car and tell them to give you the same amount. Even when you have put new tires, new sport rims, go and try to sell them the same car. If they sold it to you 35 million, go and tell them I want 34. They'll tell you, I'm buying 28. That's how much value a new car loses the moment you drive it out of the bond.